Hello, my name is Dmitry, and welcome to the DP Labs channel. Today, we have an unplanned shoot. By a twist of fate, I found myself in the city of St. Petersburg for just one day. Right now, we are in one of my favorite museums in our country, the Museum of Artillery, Engineering Troops, and Signal Corps in St. Petersburg on Kronversky Avenue. You need to come closer. Dmitry in St. Petersburg for an unplanned shoot. I apologize in advance for the video quality since we're filming this on a phone. I still think this is better than nothing at all. So, shall we begin? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the first exhibit we have here is the T-80B battle tank. What's special about it? The most distinctive feature is that it has a gas turbine engine, the GTD 1000. Later models were equipped with the GTD 1200. As far as I know, this is a modification of the engine designed to improve its performance. This engine is similar to the one used in the Mi-8, but it has been specifically adapted and modified for tanks. It has 1000 horsepower and is capable of running on either kerosene or diesel fuel. It boasts very good speed characteristics for its class, but it's really quite expensive and consumes fuel like crazy, especially when idling. Here you can take a look at the specs on the information plates. It consumes a lot. Well, it does use a lot of fuel, but it's worth it. It costs about twice as much as the MTS-72. It's actually quite complex, and it's also very complicated to maintain properly. The 27 can operate in extremely harsh conditions, down to minus 50 degrees. Yes, it can work down to minus 50, but it really needs to have a proper filtration system, because you can really ruin the compressor. The Abrams has this issue as well. I think this is called the T80M modification. And at the back, it looks like this. This filter, it could be, well, Nikki's has 1000 horsepower, but mine actually has 1200 horsepower. I once really wanted to buy an engine like that for myself, just for my own use. In Rikolnya, the kids there are smart, they're interested in technology. Good for them, honestly. Alright, let's move on to the next point. The firing range is up to 900 meters, which is quite impressive. Yes, they were eliminated as part of, under the agreement on This is about the ban on intermediate and shorter range missiles. By the way, I distinctly remember when this happened. Was it perhaps back in kindergarten or already in school? I honestly can't recall for certain. Maybe it was in the year 1987. I remember this issue being discussed at length, even shown on TV, how Gorbachev and Reagan signed that historic agreement. This here is also an operational tactical missile, the AK missile system.
Тоже что-то типа того. Много тут изобретали.
I like that it has two double cabins, which means there is extra space for people to sleep or relax, making it comfortable for a group. This is the mast, which is the tall vertical pole that supports the sails and is essential for sailing. This is the chassis, which forms the main structure of the boat and provides strength and stability. Are those independent cabins over there? I am not completely sure, but it looks like there might be separate spaces for privacy. Oh no, it looks like there are two steering wheels which could be useful for controlling the boat from different positions, or maybe not, I do not remember exactly, so I would need to check and study it further to be certain. Well, overall, I think it is great.
А вот эта вот легкая самоходная
And
установка
this light, self-propelled unit, the Su-57, could actually be airdropped from an aircraft. It looks really cool and impressive. Honestly, I'd absolutely love to get one to drive around at the dacha, just for fun. It's neat, tidy, and compact, so it could be dropped by airborne method, either with people inside or not. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it could be done separately, or maybe not tied together. I need to read up on it more to find out. Well, we suspect the colonel probably knows the answer. Maybe they'll give you one as a gift. Thanks, but that's a problem. This Smirch multiple rocket launcher system is still in use today. It's a pretty terrifying thing. I'll I'll say this. The condition
Это
here
Инстаграм
is
здесь неплохой.
pretty good.
Так, прям сильно нормально все содержит.
I can't wait. I wish it would happen sooner. And this little vehicle next to it is for maintenance.
We're going to go inside the vehicle too. There are all sorts of cool things in there. I can't wait. I wish it would happen sooner. Hurry up. Look, you're beautiful, aren't you? Get her out of here. And this little vehicle next to it, that's the service vehicle. It can reload really quickly. Sort of.
Типа,
Transport loader brings the rockets. The boys and girls of St. Petersburg were lucky. And this one here, everyone knows it. Everyone remembers the fiery grad. Tell us about them. Look how beautiful they are. And that's a BRDM on the stage. Anti-tank missile launcher flute. It had some kind of ATGM mounted flute. Now it has achieved shots per minute, and yes, that's a BRDM. Listen, there are 2 people inside.
No more than that.
Per month?
Where? Here? Yes, no, let me see here.
A lot each and every month.
People?
5. The crew is 2 people. Well, that's
The crew.
just 2 people in total, so only
2 people are supposed to aim?
one drives and the other sits as the gunner, the other... No, they are sold like that, but not in large quantities.
But these kinds of BRDMs are being sold,
You can buy them at the artillery museum? No, they're sold like that
but not with the missile.
system. Not just for parades, they've seen use. You can drive them through mud and rough terrain. BRDMs are sold and modified like with bigger windows. I want one.
Swim, Mashka.
Yeah, this thing. And it also has little wheels. Small ones, they extend out. There's a little hatch in the back like this.
Little ones extend out like crossing ditches and obstacles. And how fast does it go when it swims? Majestic.
Range is 370 kilometers. Imagine, a plane could take off for 370 kilometers. See, you don't notice, but the first stage is the booster. It's all good, beloved, beautiful, majestic. Did Velasca happen to bring anything with her? No, nothing. It is simply just in service at the moment, I guess. Big, beautiful. Who knows?
Nothing. Are they made like sausages?
511. It's called that. Let's go. Rockets. By the way, is it from that one the main engine? The engine looks completely unpainted, and I'll show you what I mean. I bought it on Avito, which is an online marketplace. Maybe we'll take it apart and have a closer look. If you're interested, and there are requests in the comments, we'll try to disassemble it, just like a turbo pump.
Looks pretty small, by the way. If you mess around on the beam, the fenders start popping up over the Oh, damn.
Zhenya, I didn't get on the path. Damn, you already left. You look like such a kid here. It's so huge, majestic, massive. And this, basically a plane, this machine. Out of 400 people, only 12 were chosen, right? Is it really that much? They were with the musical group. Those are the perfect ones. Two people sat in the welding shop, then they were granted and reported the direction. So they didn't move in on command. It's still in service to this day. It fires both shells and mines. A smoothbore gun. A classic Christie design. It was invented by Mr. Christie from America. It wasn't counted for civilian use.
What's special about this suspension?
What's special about this suspension? It's actually built on these kinds of mechanical levers, and it's all set up on such a lever. And these are levers with torsion bars.
Torsion bars are a kind of shaft that's spring-loaded, and they're convenient. The little tank itself
Is so-so, honestly. And this is still actually part of the free exhibition. We haven't even gone inside yet, and already so much excitement for them. Transport containers and these things on the sides of this rocket, some kind of park equipment collectors. I don't really know. It's in service, but looks kind of odd. And this is for the public, Sash. I have a detailed cutaway model of its rocket, a full-size one, with real electronics, right here. We have the same one hanging from the ceiling. This is the one I have. It's in service, and I have a cutaway rocket from it, a mass-dimensional model. This is the cutaway I have to show. There's also a worn-out military training model. Without a warhead and without an engine, it's solid fuel. And what kind of satellite is that? Where? That's ours. Combat vehicle, illumination radar. And what does it do? It detects aircraft and gives its commands. To its own missiles? Yes. No, not on it, but the missile is on another one. And this one was a combat vehicle. It was a machine with the Strela system. There is still a Strela. Does it have a missile? Does it still have one? No, but the missile is on another. This is a combat vehicle with the Strela system. There's also a portable Strela. That means a person carries and fires this missile. Like a Stinger or Igla, but older. That's my vehicle. Its range is up to 5 kilometers. Here are my little missiles. What's that pretty thing that... No, the containers are attached right here. And this is the Tunguska. As far as I understand, it has... How many do they have? Are the missiles hard to reload? No, the containers really do get attached. And this is the Tunguska, if I understand correctly. What's its caliber? It has 30 millimeter cannons and a missile. But the missile's effective range is pretty small, right? Well, yeah, but each system has its own purpose. Otherwise, on the Balkroid, Alice just presses the button? No. And this is the Shilka. You can literally mow down the forest with it. There you go. It has 4 20mm automatic. Sisti cannons, like the ones you would typically find on a battery, and it fires at a rate of about 3,400 rounds per minute. That is some truly serious firepower. It even has a sophisticated radar, doesn't it? Of course. Back in the day, cannons were made of bronze, real works of art, exquisitely and beautifully crafted, like from the 17th century. Royal color suits you. Is this for the entrance? Yeah. Oh no, I want more, please. No. No. Then over there. There. Shall we go through? Well, to the cool ones, of course, not her. And will we get to enjoy the festival at the route, or are we just flying by? No. And can we jump on the trampolines? Of course. Listen, this is some quality casting. This isn't just aluminum melted down from cans. Look how well it's cast. Look at that, mother. Now you'll quietly cast it yourself. Just you wait. Well, you go ahead and try. Well, it's nothing. They're not cannons after all, because that's illegal as souvenir products. But if you plug the vent hole, then it's your cannon, and double charge it. First the muzzle. Record it for us. In general, it's intact. There wasn't.
Dmitry Pavlovich, surely the money spent was not used without thought. It was carefully considered and allocated with a clear purpose in mind, ensuring that each dollar served a meaningful role.
We need to check the documentation to see who accepted the Marshalka. I'll show you now. I won't throw out the Martyrka, the big mortar, the bomb thrower. I'm not sure how well it fired.
Not far. 32 Steban-like trash bin. Music is playing softly in the background, creating a gentle and soothing atmosphere throughout the room. The melody flows smoothly, filling the space with a sense of calm and relaxation. Each note blends harmoniously with the next, inviting everyone present to pause and enjoy the peaceful ambiance. The presence of music enhances the environment, making it feel more welcoming and comfortable for all who are there, as the sound gently surrounds and uplifts the mood.
There you go. Look at this. See what kind of little cartridges these are? You see right away they started making them, packing them in paper. Separate charge for the port and the bullet. It was more convenient and faster to load.
And the cartridge was much more convenient and faster to load because you didn't have to separately load the powder, and this one.
Проворачивай, следующий ряд продал. Вот такое.
A weapon of
Там
mass
уже
destruction,
массово
indeed.
положили.
We had,
Something to win with.
A weapon of mass.
Well, not like discs. See how sturdy it is? And this one, all of its parts were, how should I put it, actually made with discs. Well, like these discs, see what kind of chamber it has? What does it say here? Bronze chamber. Yeah, so that's what it's like. I don't really know how successful it was, to be honest. And the disc here isn't, exactly the same as the others. It's a bit different.
simple. Well, almost.
Came open. Look, it started to come apart. Yeah.
This
There's a little drum. Uh-huh.
And where is there? Where did they usually put it, Sash son? Or was it back then?
It's a little drum, and where is there some royals ended up somewhere? Or is it where the musicians are? Maybe, it's a chariot, like petrochemistry.
Yeah, I remembered. Did people really? Did people actually truly, genuinely do that?
Had such broad shoulders?
It's actually pretty good for acceleration.
No.
Oh, I'm looking, it's a size 46.
How tall was your grandfather? My grandfather was 1 meter 78, and yours?
I'm 1 meter 80 tall, so that's almost 10 centimeters difference, guys. As they often say, everything new is really just the forgotten old, you see exactly. Islamists actually use it from a gas cylinder, just like before. Here I have a seat purely military, not particularly soft. Could you please explain in more detail why this does not relate to the topic we are discussing? I would appreciate it if you could clarify the specific reasons or factors that make this point unrelated, and perhaps provide some examples to help me better understand the distinction between these subjects. We just need to hang a sign so that it looks more modern.
You really look like such a little kid here.
After the war broke, everyone came here. We just need a sign to modernize it. You look amazed by how big this machine is, which has been here since airplane.
Out of 400 people, 12 individuals were taken, right? And is it really all that noticeable, or is it something that could easily go unnoticed? Well, they had some musical equipment there, and there were people with such remarkably perfect pitch that just 2 people were assigned to tuning, and then they would carefully report where the signal was coming from, indicating the direction it was coming from, yeah. And Zenit relayed this information to him on command. Here's an interesting thing to examine, and it's somewhat reminiscent of a waffle in its appearance. What we have here is a 58 millimeter battery. At least that's how I understand it. The mechanism would rotate in this direction, allowing you to fire from these multiple barrels that are arranged around the device. Let's take a closer look at this fascinating object. It's not entirely clear how the initiation process was carried out, meaning how the firing sequence was actually started, but somehow, in short, that's essentially how it worked and operated. A truly terrifying thing. And here's another one of the same kind. Honestly, I don't know, but with such a long barrel length and these relatively small mortars, it's hard to say exactly how far it could shoot. Still, for those times, it was basically a weapon of mass destruction, made of solid bronze. I really like the quality of the casting. There are no visible flaws, no cavities or anything like that. Oh, and here's one that burst, or maybe it was hit by something. Perhaps a bullet, or maybe a fragment. Well, Yes, here we have a 7.6 millimeter barrel, which is in diameter, and a .44 caliber size barrel as well. They are being distributed on a truly massive scale, reaching far and wide. Here, gentlemen, are some very interesting specimens. These are hand-marked. I even wonder, how do they shoot with such a caliber? It wouldn't tear your shoulder off, but as it turned out, they were only fired from this. Or they were driven into the ground. Look, she fired grenades like these. Oh, and here's an interesting example. Here is is a particularly interesting example of a weapon with a rectangular barrel that fired 3 cannonballs at once. I am not entirely sure how effective it was, but it's a fact. A peculiar thing. Hello, gentlemen. Another interesting example. This is a 17.5 millimeter steam gun. Specifically, the barrel is made of green copper. It usually fired round bullets, 50 shots per minute. Well, as we understand, it wasn't very effective, but it's an interesting thing. It wasn't possible to achieve proper pressure, and of course, as I understand, a steam boiler was needed. Well, people experimented as best they could. When it comes to killing their own kind, humanity has gone further than anywhere else, so to speak. Well, we just can't help ourselves. So here too are some notable and interesting examples of weapons that fire disc-shaped cannonballs or shells, whatever you want to call them. I don't know how accurately they fired, but since they were experimental, that's where they ended up. Moreover, at least this one and the one next to it are breech loading. Here there was also a shell with some kind of complex profile. Here's the breech right here. Clever design. And this barrel here, it's unclear why it's so crooked. And this barrel here, it's unclear why it's so crooked. Did it get bent or something? Why is it like that? The lock here is just, what is this even for? Folks, gentlemen, so first of all, brothers, this is a Maxim mount on the carriage that it was also mounted on when it was made. This was also a weapon of mass destruction. With water cooling, with a water cooling jacket installed. Interesting thing, I wonder if this one is deactivated or operational. Ours is deactivated. A cool specimen, an 85mm self-propelled gun. By the way, I didn't know that these were actually used in serial production. Let's take a look. It can go 25 kilometers per hour, though I have no idea how. I don't know how widely it was actually used. How do you even drive this gun around? Such an unsprung mass. Right here, there was an engine. I have no idea what it was from, but it was some kind of 2-level motorcycle engine. A perfectly decent steering wheel. Like, you just hop on the gun and, you know, go for a ride to pick up girls. It's an interesting idea. Here's a quadruple anti-aircraft mount made from 4 Maxims, just so you understand how really difficult it is to hit an airplane. They needed a high density of fire to have at least some chance. I don't know how effective it was, the caliber isn't that big after all, but I guess it was effective enough if it was used. All of them are connected together with the cooling system. Here, gentlemen, is a 9-inch mortar from 1867, a real steel beast. Here's a girl for comparison. She's 145 centimeters tall. It's pretty. This mortar is massive. It fired bombs. Let's go take a look. It's just huge. In this illustration, you can see the armor penetration of coastal guns. As you can imagine, the test firings were conducted specifically at distances of 1,000 and 2,000 meters. The 8-inch gun could penetrate 200 millimeters of armor, the 9-inch 240 millimeters, and the 11-inch 305 millimeters. Look at how the metal, which is so strong, was torn apart. The armor is homogeneous, rolled steel, but it still looks quite remarkable. Here, a shell even got stuck. Very illustrative. And they fired from a gun like this one, as far as I understand. Пушки. So, gentlemen, that's the end of today's episode. We're critically short on time. We have to leave the glorious city of St. Petersburg. If you liked it, we'll visit this museum again and film a couple more episodes. There's a huge outdoor exhibition of equipment and so on here. Of course, I understand that not everyone likes weapons and so on, but these are still examples of engineering thought and more. There's a certain beauty and power in it.